Welcome back, YouTubers, to another WWE vlog in HD, of course, with me, Mr. Parkin, and the guy you all want to see. I know that. It's NJ.
What's up?
And we are, of course, the British Fist.
Good shit.
NJ, show people the sign. That's what you do if you want to support the British Fists, our channel. Make sure you subscribe up above us as well, like this video, and comment your thoughts on Raw down below as usual.
Make sure you contact us in the links in the screen box below.
Of course. Now, this Monday Night Raw, 2 weeks to go till Summerslam. Let's see if WWE actually did hype to their pay-per-view and maybe hype some feuds. What did we start off with, NJ? We started off with CM Punk coming out, didn't we? What we all got advertised, what we all really wanted to see, CM Punk on his return to the WWE.
Which would make sense to have him in the opening of Raw, because obviously he's good on mic and it's a good opening.
Yep. And one question, is Punk now babyface? You seem to get a lot of cheers. Do you think he might be turning babyface at some time in the future?
Probably yes.
Okay. Basically, Punk explains why he came back to the WWE. He feels that the voice of the voiceless needs to be heard, and that he wants to induce change into WWE. And then his favourite superstar, now the COO, Triple H, interrupts him and said that he re-signed him for good business, which definitely was good business, wasn't it, for the WWE?
Well, with having CM Punk back in the WWE, it would have been a big loss if he did end up leaving. So for Triple H to, as he says, bring him back and give him a new contract and get him back involved again is good for business and good for the fans who wanted to see him.
Definitely. And like CM Punk said, WWE couldn't really afford to see him go, really, could they? I mean, he's one of the top guys in the company. If he went, the talent roster would be very thin, wouldn't it?
Pretty much, yeah.
And basically, Punk says that he's going to do things his own way. He talks about Triple H hogging the spotlight over other guys with his ego, which in some ways is true, although NJ will probably argue otherwise.
And he said the same thing about Punk, which I agree with.
Yeah. Basically, this segment went on for about 25 minutes. We had a CM Punk opening for about 10, and then Triple H interrupting. Bit of a long segment, but I guess it did its job. The length was a bit to me, but we had no adverts or anything. Just a shame those adverts kind of had to come in the next half an hour. But what did you think of this overall segment as a
Very
whole?
great opener for Raw. I think we had the two main, well, apart from Cena, the two main ones who are actually getting involved in wrestling now, doing some changes. I think it was a good opener.
Yeah, definitely. It's good to see CM Punk and Triple H addressing and basically giving us what's going to happen in the main event. He's going to address what's happening between the two WWE Championship matches, even though, in my opinion, I think it was a bit predictable what was going to happen. But anyway, we will move on, because this is where we usually do a tea time segment. But because this Divas segment was actually good, we're going to talk about it. We had a Divas Battle Royal, as announced from last week, determining the #1 contendership to Kelly's Divas title at SummerSlam. And who won this match, NJ? Who have we been rooting for to win this match?
For a while now, she's been not in the right position in the WWE, and it was Beth Phoenix back at the top of the Divas thing. Hopefully, when she goes on to SummerSlam to face Kelly, we'll get a new Divas champion.
Yeah, and she wins it with a feat of strength, doesn't she? She hangs both the Bellas up and eliminates them. I thought that was a really good ending to the Battle Royal. It really showed her strength, didn't it? And it's a good way to get her showing her strength before she does go into this title match. But the best thing for me came when Beth Phoenix turned heel on Kelly. I think they've done this brilliantly, the way they turned her heel and really hyped the match up very well and set up the rivalry. I really enjoyed this segment a lot.
Because the thing about it is that the Divas, there's too many faces, so I think to have Beth Phoenix now a heel again where she should have stayed, it's going to be great for the Divas division and great for the main their match at SummerSlam.
Yeah. And in this kind of thing, Beth Phoenix can play a great heel, you know that, and especially in the Divas division where really we're very stagnant of real proper Divas wrestlers. So to have her come in as a heel against the sort of model diva Kelly, I think it's a good thing. I think they did this perfectly. Yeah, I think that's exactly how I would have booked it. We then have a couple of backstage segments with Miz and R-Truth, and we also had Miz Morrison and Rey Mysterio. The reason I bring this up is because I like the way that WWE showcased them as a team before their tag team match. I think it built to that match very well, which was the match after the Battle Royal. We had Miz and Truth versus Morrison and Rey. What did you think of this match, NJ?
With this match, I think throughout the whole match it was entertaining because it had the ones that are going to hopefully go on to some of them and have a rivalry. But the thing about it is, as the match went on, you could kind of predict almost what's going to come because of the way it was starting to flow near the end of the match. Yep.
This match went on for 11 minutes. I really enjoyed this tag team match. And do you know what? I'm so glad the heels win, because usually in this situation, the faces always win. And to see the heels win was a good change of pace, in my opinion. And I really enjoyed, even though R-Truth pinned John Morrison, and I really do have some problems with that regarding the pay-per-view build, I'm just glad the heels won. R-Truth wins.
Well, we have John Morrison who's lost now 2 of his return matches, and I'm thinking, do the WWE really not like R-Truth, John Morrison, as much as they say they do? But again, I think it's poor.
Yeah. Why not make someone like Miz? Why not make Truth Pin Ray or something? Just not to make Morrison look so weak going into the pay-per-view match, which he is eventually going to have, isn't he?
He probably will, yes.
Overall, I really enjoyed the match. 11 minutes, it got good time. That's I've got to give the 2 thumbs up on that match. Really.
Well, I only give it 1 because obviously the ending ruined it.
The ending ruined it for me, but I just enjoyed the match as a whole. We also had a segment next between with Dolph Ziggler and Vicky Guerrero, and I'm sitting there thinking, why are these people coming out for a segment? But then again, it becomes quite clear when Alex Riley comes out, and you kind of think to yourself, maybe this is kind of teasing a match at SummerSlam. We've seen them work a couple of house show matches together. That's kind of what this segment was doing, I think, in my opinion.
Sadly, the way I see it is that I miss no more contenders, and having Alex Riley get involved with Ziggler now is like saying, "Where's no more contender? Why is I know Ziggler made like an open challenge sort of thing by saying I'm better than anyone backstage. Anyone came out, but again, I'm not really too sure about this at the moment.
No, I mean, I like you. I do like to see no more contenders matches, but at the same time, we've seen Kofi Kingston go against Ziggler many times. We've seen Evan Bourne facing last week. So really, the last kind of mid-card face you have there is Alex Riley. I would like to see a no more contendership match. Maybe we'll have it next week. But WWE kind of made it clear to me here that Alex Riley and Dolph Ziggler are probably going to have a match at SummerSlam, and I'm all for that, to be honest. Just because Alex Riley is obviously not going to be involved with Miz anymore, and he kind of needs to be involved in that mid-card title division.
Which is the shame, because they finished the Miz and Riley off in a bit of a odd position. I'm just like, we're expected them to go on and have a rivalry instead of moving Miz over to somewhere else and then having Alex Riley get involved with Dolph Ziggler. It's just, again, I just thought that bit was a bit messed up a bit.
The segment wasn't the best segment, but I guess it did what it was supposed to do, and that was tease a feud. So that's all I can say about that segment. Vicky Guerrero doing her usual, "Excuse me."
Yeah, and then I think everyone wants to see Ziggler and Vicky just to stop, because I think Ziggler needs to prove himself, as I've said for a while now, to be on his own. So I think it should happen.
Although, to be honest, I do feel that Vicky Guerrero is mainly responsible for getting Ziggler his heel heat. But like you said, I would like to see Ziggler go off on his own. It's the kind of next step for him, I do feel, if he's going to be a main event guy, to get rid of Vicky Guerrero, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Should we move on to the next match then? Because we've got some tag team action. Now, this is good because we don't usually see too much tag. We saw 2 tag matches tonight, which was good. And we also saw our tag team champions. And one thing I will say before we go on to this match is, firstly, they're not called Nexus anymore. Thank fuck for that. And secondly, WWE are finally getting into the habit of showcasing their tag team champions on TV, because before we haven't really seen them showcased that much. So I'm just glad they're on TV. And even though I don't like them, I'm just glad they're being showcased on TV so we can see that the tag champs and we can kind of see a feud maybe coming from this. Maybe a pay-per-view match. Who knows? Then Liz had to Santino and Ryder was the opponents. But I didn't like that. I don't know about you.
Okay, and now they go on to again, it was a bit of a weird pairing match, but the thing is, I think they had these 2 pairing for the entertainment side of the tag team thing, and David Otunga and Michael, I think, again, there's not many tag teams left in the WWE, so I think to have them saved and still together and still having their matches on a Raw or involved in wrestling, I think it's interesting. But then they did show their dominance in this match, but it's not really showing as much as they could have, because they went against the odd pairing of Santino and Zack Ryder. I'm thinking, if they want to get someone a bit more stronger in that team, maybe it would look a bit more of an efficient match for the tag team champs. Yeah, they do, as NJ said, they did look strong. I'd love to see the Kings of Wrestling maybe go after these 2 if they do sign for WWE. That's just speculation at the moment. Will they have a match at the pay-per-view, do you think? I don't think they will. They don't really have any credible opponents, do they? They've beaten the Usos, now they've beaten Santino and Ryder. Who else have they got? I think it could be interesting if they do have a match at the SummerSlam, because obviously when you go to pay-per-views, you do expect different kind of matches, and for the tags to be involved, I think that would be good if they somehow make it work. Yep. What do you think of the match itself, though? I didn't think the match was great, but it did its job putting Necklace over, I guess, as strong, and getting them on TV again was decent, so 1 thumb up for that, I'd say, maybe? Pretty much. Yeah, okay then. We then get a backstage segment with Punk talking about Triple H, kind of hyping up for the main event. I did like these little segments. They had one with Cena as well. It hypes for the main event quite well, in my opinion, which is why I like these backstage segments before the main event happens. What about you? That's about it. Okay, fair enough. We then have the traditional Del Rio segment on Raw
We have Del Rio versus Evan Bourne. I personally thought it was going to be Del Rio versus Kofi, but we got Del Rio versus Evan Bourne. It's good to see Del Rio facing someone else, even if it is someone like Evan Bourne, who is obviously going to job to him, I guess.
Well, the good thing about this match is that a lot of people, again, I'm going to plug Twitter, that the amount of people that were really happy to see Evan Bourne get involved in Raw again was good. And I think with Evan Bourne, he's been flown about all over the place at the minute. So for him to actually be appearing on Raw and having matches, he's going to get Del Rio. So that is not, again, he's not going to win, but it's good that he's getting involved in certain matches that could show maybe his skills and his entertainment side. And
also, I do feel they're going to set up a Del Rio-Kofi feud, which is why I'm glad they kind of separated them until the end of the match. We had a typical Del Rio win where he wins it pretty clean with a cross-arm breaker. He has the post-match attack on Bourne, and then Kofi Kingston comes out. And I did enjoy this because at least they didn't touch before the pay. I know they've had 2 matches already, but at least they didn't have a third match and ruin the hype. At least they kind of tried to do something to make a feud. Del Rio retreats, and it's the typical face coming in to stop the heel on another face segment. I thought it did its job, even though the match wasn't great.
It kind of got me thinking, now we've got to see, going into the pay-per-view, Del Rio versus Kofi Kingston. And I'm like, again...
Cena Elimination Chamber, aren't we?
Again, I'm not too sure about that because, again, Del Rio should be up in the main events now. And for him to be downgraded against someone like Kofi Kingston, I'm thinking that's just going to fill out time, but I just think it's not the best for him.
I don't think so either. I think it'll just be a holdover feud for when he eventually feuds against either John Cena or CM Punk, maybe. I don't know. It's just I think they're just trying to get him involved somehow at Summerslam, and this is the way they're doing it. That's what I think. Should we move on to the main event then?
Yeah.
Right, okay then. The main event involved Triple H once again, coming out and basically addressing the WWE Universe as he does now. He is the COO, man of authority, Triple H. But for some reason, as Triple H is doing his segment, maybe hyping up the main event at SummerSlam, John Laurinaitis interferes. And I'm thinking to myself, what the fuck is he doing out here? I thought they were just going to announce the match and do it. But then John Laurinaitis comes out.
The thing about this is that I was quite interested because, again, he's still mentioning Vince McMahon, so maybe that's going to be hinting something that's not in the near future, but in the future there's going to be some more involvement between Vince McMahon and Triple H. So for him to still get involved and still have some power over the WWE, I'm still thinking there's going to be some hints of something going on there.
Let's see. John Laurinaitis basically says that Triple H should strip the title from John Cena. I just didn't see what he was doing out there. But then we got the obvious Cena interference, of course. We knew he was going to be involved in the main event somehow. He interferes and says that Laurinaitis is a yes man, and he does, I think, quite a good impression of him, to be honest. Cena's involvement, your thoughts?
Yeah, it was going to happen.
Did you need Monster at this point, NJ?
Not really.
Oh, right, okay then. That's a good thing. Triple H basically comes out and says Cena isn't stripped of the title, and as we all knew, he made the main event between Punk and Cena at SummerSlam for the undisputed WWE title. We kind of knew this was going to come. I just didn't realise. I didn't know why they had to go through all that bullshit with John Laurinaitis before they did it. I think this segment could have done a bit more simply. Well, I enjoyed it, but I think it would have been simply.
We're going past the Laurinaitis because that part weren't really needed. It gets the interesting part with the confrontation between CM Punk and Cena and Triple H getting involved, splitting them up and saying, "No, you've got to stop this. I'm the boss," and that. And he basically books the match that we all expected to happen at SummerSlam, which is CM Punk versus John Cena for the title. So
we've had our main event match from SmackDown announced, now we've had our main event match from Raw announced, now we just need some more fucking matches announced. But at least the 2 main event matches have been announced 2 weeks before the fucking pay-per-view, which is decent, I guess. We then get some back and forth title holding between Cena and Punk. Who can get the biggest cheers? Who's the biggest face? Who won this one? Obviously Cena.
Pretty much,
Canned heat, I think, in my opinion.
Well, the way I see it, I think there's still fans behind Cena. As much as I don't want to agree with it, I'm thinking there's still a lot of fans behind him. I think even though Punk's been getting involved, he's just recently getting involved and getting his shot on that. So I think in time, the fans will like him more than Cena. But I think at the minute, the fans are still behind Cena because he's been there and done stuff for the WWE.
Yeah, I think after that Money in the Bank pay-per-view, though, he's got a lot more fans behind him, hasn't he, CM Punk?
Pretty much.
Yeah. Overall thoughts then, NJ? Do you want to give your overall thoughts on this show?
My overall thoughts, well, I think it started off good. I think it got the crowd going. It got the crowd expecting more to happen later in the night. It flows onto a good Divas match when I think now we've got Beth Phoenix heel. It's going to add up their hype to the pay-per-view.
Very good segment.
And I'm saying now it goes on to, again, I'm going to say the downfall was the whole Morrison losing his second match. Him being pinned by R-Truth, then being attacked by Miz. It's just like burying Morrison more, which I'm thinking, what's that really going to do leading on to SummerSlam? And then we have the tag champs get involved, which again I'm expecting more from them. And then we have the great ending segment, which is really hyping up, and it gave us the match for SummerSlam.
Yeah. What I will say about this Raw is I didn't think it had much in it, but I think what it did have was relevant because it kind of you saw in this Raw the kind of feuds they were going to go into at SummerSlam. You saw a tease A-Rai Ziggler feud, maybe Miz, Ray, John Morrison, R-Truth, Punk, Cena. You saw a lot of segments in there that were really hyping towards the pay-per-view, towards the feud. So it wasn't the best show. I mean, it wasn't the most entertaining show, but they did its job, I think, of this week as to sort of giving us a tease. They just need to announce these matches now, I believe. I mean, I did enjoy this Raw. I think it did its job, which is why I'm going to grade it quite highly this week. We had some good wrestling as well. The tag team match was very good, I thought, and the opening segment and the end segment I enjoyed too.
Overall, I'm going to give this Raw a good grade because obviously it kept me watching all the way through. It got me entertained. There was stuff that I was thinking this could lead somewhere. So I'm going to give it a good grade, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to give it a B simply because it did its job. It's 2 weeks before SummerSlam. They need to give us a hint to what they're going to do. They just need to announce these matches now, don't they? That's all they really need to do. And they should really have done it a couple of times this week. But, you know, I'm happy with what I saw tonight. I really am. B for me.
Same B here.
Right then. Well, you've heard our thoughts, guys, obviously. We are the British Fist. We like to give our thoughts on this Raw. Make sure you guys also get your comments because your comments count on our channel. Make sure you keep subscribing up above, of course. And because I know you want to hear this one last time, NJ, do your thing.
What's up?
And take us out.
And one thing I'm going to say is that this Raw, again, they've had a good flow of Raws, which have been interesting, kept us wanting more. It's got us thinking the last Raw before SummerSlam. And I'm thinking now we're expecting more to happen, more matches to be made. And all I'm going to say, from the British Fist,
goodbye.